All right, welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Marty Gaunt of Gaunt Brothers Racing, and of course has been a fixture in NASCAR ownership for a good amount of years. Marty, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Casey.
So obviously a different plan for you this year than compared to last year. Of course, last year you ran the full schedule with Daniel Suarez. This year you're doing more of a part-time schedule with Ty. What made the change with that?
Yeah, so, it just wasn't just one change. Obviously, we've all experienced 2020. It's a year, it's going to go down the history books with COVID. So obviously when we put the deal together with Daniel to run all the event 2020, none of us were aware of what was coming at us in mid-March. And obviously we got shut down for a few months. Lucky enough, the sanctioning body NASCAR got us going again in May when we started back in Darlington. That came a lot of changes to how we operated. The biggest thing, for us was no longer were we going to have practice or qualifying. And for a new team in the Cup Series with no qualifying and racing against teams that have a notebook plus years. Teams, that was a pretty tall order for us to continue on doing it the way that, now known as the norm in NASCAR, which was in qualifying. So it was tough for us to get the team off the ground to begin with. And then secondly, and more importantly, was not being able to have any practice on the weekends and not being able to test, not to do any of the other things that we've been able to do in years past. So come late year, sometime, I think it was October-ish, Daniel and I sat down and felt it was better, that he wanted to look at some other opportunities. And, at that time, we need to kind of regroup because we knew we weren't going to the next gen car now in 21 as planned. And that was now going to happen in 22. And that we were going to, kind of throttle back, if you will, and go to a part-time schedule in 21, which we're doing, and then again, get ready for 22.
Do you think that, I know that there were a number of drivers in the Toyota stable that you could have got. I mean, obviously with Ty and then, obviously John Hunter Nemechek was available and all that stuff, maybe to run Cup. What was it like when you decided who was going to be driving the 96? Did you have any consideration if it was, if it was Ty or if it was, I know John Hunter's expressed that he wanted to maybe do Cup along with this truck deal. What was the process? Have you talked to, how many drivers did you talk to?
Oh, I'd say we probably talked to a minimum of a half dozen drivers that called us. So there's many considerations when you're looking at doing a part-time venture like we're doing. What tracks are we going to run at? How often are we going to race? And so on and so forth. So we took our time, obviously. We're late into January before we decided that, Ty was our guy moving forward. And we knew Ty was coming available because of the 13 car was shutting down. And we had watched Ty, we knew of Ty racing side by side with him in the truck series when we were building engines for Toyota. Ty was there winning races. And then we also obviously watched him progress through the Cup Series. And we were at Charlotte last year for the Roval, and it rained. And we're like, oh, here's another element for 2020. It rained, and we watched Ty lead that race, win a stage or two, I believe, and was in contention to win the race. So he was always on our radar, along with several others. And it was just one of those things, all the pieces came together that we felt that Ty was a fit for what we were trying to accomplish this year.
So, with Ty, going into the organization, coming into the team, how many races is Gaunt Brothers planning on running in 2021?
Yeah, good question, Casey. So, we came out at the beginning of the year and we said we like to race somewhere between 10 and 12 events, but we're keeping our schedule very fluid. So if we, need to change up something, and, we said that we would like to run the speedways and the road course. We're active events right now and possibly maybe taking a road course off and adding an intermediate track. So, the beauty of not having a charter and running part-time is that we can be fluid. If we decide that, we want to go race Bristol on the dirt, guess what? We're going to go race Bristol. It's our next event. That wasn't on our schedule at the very beginning of the year. So we're going to run the dirt event at Bristol, which is, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be exciting for the fans. And we had a lot of calls on that event also about, drivers who wanted to participate in just a Bristol dirt event. It's going to be a big race for us as an industry. So, we're going to do that now. And then we're also started talking about possibly running an intermediate track or two. So again, there's a lot of different elements that go into the decision of where we're going to race. And we weigh all those and we figure out what's the best for the driver, and then we move forward with it.
So is Ty going to be confirmed as the driver throughout the full season?
No, Ty's confirmed for the Bristol dirt race.
Okay.
And then we're looking at, where to go from there. I think if you recall, we announced that Ty was going to run the 500. And then shortly after that, we said, hey, we're going to put him in the road course race at Daytona, and now into the dirt race at Bristol. And phenomenal job for us. Obviously we did not make the 100, but that was no fault of Ty, the teams, and somebody told me a stat the other day, we're going to finish 5th and we ended up 6th in the duels. Highest finishing car ever in the history of NASCAR to finish 6th in a duel race and not make the Daytona 500. And I said, well, I don't know if that's something I'm proud of, but we were very competitive. We would have started the Daytona 500 9th if we would have finished 5th in the first duel, but we didn't make the race, and that is what it is. We were fast, we were competitive. We went to the road course and we finished 19th. So we had to start at the back. And Ty did an excellent job there, and we're looking for the same at the dirt race.
You said you were looking at, other drivers and stuff. Are you possibly bringing up some Xfinity guys, some truck guys? Could we see, maybe an Xfinity driver or, one of the truck drivers at either at KBM or ThorSport or anybody like that to maybe come up and run with you guys?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. That's a possibility. I can tell you right now, we're really happy with the job that Ty is doing. And, we've been open with Ty and he's been open with us. Obviously, he's running some races down at JGR in the Xfinity program. I think his next one is scheduled for Talladega, I believe, in the Xfinity car. So we're open and we have open dialogue. We talk several times a week. So yeah, there's a possibility we could put somebody else in the car, and Ty is also looking for options. So with having that open dialogue, there's nothing that's hidden from each other. We talk openly about what the next event could be, and then we work towards that.
So really, after the Bristol dirt race, you do not know where your next event will be.
Yeah, that's correct. And we have a couple of options. We're eyeing up Talladega for the next event after that. Okay. But again, we're staying fluid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that, you've been a Toyota owner for about a good amount of years. And I know that, and when I asked David Wilson this last year, I know that, he's going to do all he can to help you out. I know you've been a part of Toyota for a very long time. What's the conversations been like with David in the last few years when this team started?
Yeah, our conversations with David Wilson and Tyler Gibbs, Jack Irving, Paul Dosho on the marketing side have always been we have business conversations and we have conversations about just our friendship in general, because we've been together for 15 plus years. And the great thing about David and the whole they are they diehard racers that understand that the racing is a business, right? So we have many conversations with those folks about just things in general, and then obviously they always know where we stand and what we're looking at down the road. So when we come up with a plan of what we want to do, if it was racing with Daniel Suarez last year full time, or putting Drew Herring in the car a couple years ago at Homestead for the last event. We're talking about Parker Klingerman, DJ Kennington. They always know where we stand. We talk several times a week. So there's never a surprise to Dave. Sometimes he goes, well, Marty, that's an idea. But they're very open with us, and we're very transparent with them. So we've been to grow our businesses through Toyota, all Toyota race teams with their sheet metal. When we built Toyota engines for 10 plus years, along and opportunities happen, we sit down and have open dialogue about what the future could look like for Gaunt Brothers Racing.
Yeah. So, kind of really coming into, with the next gen car in 2022, what's that going to be like? And do you plan to run the full season in 2022 if you with the next gen car?
Yeah. So again, another good question, Casey. We will run a full season in 22 if we have the partnership put together, driver, sponsors, Toyota manufacturer. We wouldn't even attempt to run a full season without Toyota's blessing partnership, because they supply so much to us on the technical side with using all their tools and parts and pieces, and the manpower that they help us with. Without them, and it wouldn't be possible for us, to make that happen. And we wouldn't without their blessing. So everything has to line up, and we have to have sponsorship, the right funding to do. So if we can get that in place, and let's call it the fourth quarter of this year, then obviously we'd go out, we're into the charter market again and look for a charter to secure that for our team.
That was going to be my next question. Because there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be in there from, there could be a lot of new teams that are heading into the market, and maybe teams that we do know about that want to run full time. And then there could be teams that we don't know about. What's going to be different with the charter system? And with all these new teams coming in, do you think the charter system is like, do we even need it with all these competitive teams, all these open cars, if we have a bunch of cars heading into 22?
That's a difficult question to answer. I think that, hey, the charter system is good. I think the intent of the charter system is good. Obviously, we can't have any of our big stars not being able to. I'll go back to when we had the provisional system. There were some times it was touch and goes that some of our stars of the garage were in jeopardy of missing the race. So we can't have that, right? And we have to have the teams that are well funded and that are contributing week in and week out. They have to be guaranteed a spot in the event. I'm all for that, 100%. Us as an open car, when we come out, we're all about quality over quantity, right? So when we come out, we compete, and we're not there yet to run top 15, but we felt we're pretty competitive out of the box for running Parttime. And especially as an open car, we've always taken pride that we are, if we're not the top open car, we're the second, but we like to be the top open car. Run some of the, charter cars, if you will, but, a charter doesn't help with your team being competitive. A charter helps you being guaranteed to be in the race. So that's one good if you plan on running all the events and have great partners to do that, then yes, you need a charter if they're available. So going in here, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan came in this year. We've all read the rumblings that, Denny is saying that the cost of the car. So how does all that work, and who else would be entering the sport? We've heard some rumblings of other people coming in the sport. So if somebody enters, then somebody must exit, right? Because there's only 36 charters. So I think a lot of that would be flushed out in the fourth quarter at the same time we could be looking. So yeah, we could be entering that charter market again with a few others. So that could be interesting times in the fourth quarter of this year.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. All right, Marty Gaunt, thank you so
Yeah.
much for taking some time to talk with us. Good luck next week at the Bristol Dirt Race.
Great. Thanks a lot, Casey. Appreciate it.